Hello, good day. My name is Emmanuel Amechi Mark, and I'm here to share with you on why we are here now as a nation. That's Nigeria. Yes, why we are here as a nation. One of the major rhetoric questions we've always asked on the social media has been, how did we get here? Yeah, so many, when you read about a lot of challenges, a lot of predicaments going on in Nigeria now, you always find somewhere along the line someone responding and really asking, how did we get here? And then another very close question to that has always been in pidgin English. Someone will always say, now who do us like this? Or now who do us? You know, I'm here to expose us a bit to what has actually led to us getting here. So just follow me briefly on this video. I'll just share with us what led to us getting here. Now, number one, I want to share with us, if you probably must have heard about the boiling frog syndrome. Boiling frog syndrome. That syndrome tries to explain that if you try to boil a frog, a live frog, by throwing it into the boiling water while it's already boiling, so the chances is that you won't succeed because the frog may likely, jump out almost immediately. But if you put water into the pot first and put the frog inside while the water is not yet on the fire, and then put the pot with the frog inside the water on the fire, and then light the gas or stove or the burner, gradually, as the heat begins to generate inside the pot, the frog will be adjusting itself, just thinking it's a normal situation that it can overcome. Along the line, the frog will never jump out, and all of a sudden, little by little, the frog will get boiled up. Now, that's the boiling frog syndrome. We try to explain that the frog, the chances is that you can kill or boil a live frog by dropping it into the cold water and heating it little by little. Now, this syndrome, some way, somehow, explains little about who we are as Nigerians or how we behave as Nigerians. I just brought this up for you to put at the back of your mind while you are reasoning with me on this issue, how we behave. Now, number one, how come our security situation has gotten this worse? Not bad, but this worse. How come we hear about kidnappings now every single day? How come we hear about ritual killings as if it's a normal thing? How come the cost of living just go up? And nobody questions this situation. Cost of living just go up. We read on the news, we hear on social media how the government brings this very funny policy, and it's just like everyone is moving on. You just hear that the so and so amount of money has been, smuggled, embezzled, or what have you, and nobody questions. Nobody cares. And the question, just like we're asking, is how did we get to this? How did we get this to this level? Is this actually how it was? Is this really how it was? So what really led to it? Because for those of us who may know or who may not have gotten to that age, it's important you understand that 25 years ago, 30 years ago, it wasn't really like this. Yeah, Nigeria at that time wasn't really the best of countries, but it wasn't really like this. It wasn't really like this. At least Nigeria is to a large extent peaceful at that time. There were robberies, there were ritual killings, there were some level of insecurity, but these things happen in trickles. And you hear about it maybe once in a long while. You don't hear about it just as we hear that someone is kidnapped today, and then tomorrow you hear about another set of persons kidnapped. And the funny thing is that when you hear about this kidnap, it's so funny that you hear about the kidnap taking place in a particular place in Katsina just today, and then tomorrow you hear about the kidnap taking place on that same spot again in Katsina the very next day. It's not as if it will appear as if they didn't even run away, they didn't even go too far, they are just within the place. And they will do the same thing over, probably even the third day, or maybe the next week, that they will come again. It becomes a normal situation. But like I said, 25 years ago, it wasn't like this. It wasn't really like this. So what led to it? Two major words I'll just share with us. Number one, complacency. And then number two, adjustment. How does it relate to Africans? How does it relate to Nigerians? Nigerians have been known over time to be a people very prone to complacency. That is an act or a way of always overlooking many serious and critical matters. You are just complacent about it. You don't take it seriously. You don't just feel it's something that we should act upon. You don't just feel it's something that we should raise alarm on. You know, it's just normal. You are complacent about it, and then all of a sudden it becomes a very serious issue. Let me take you back just a little to about 25, 30 years ago. A man called Fela Anikulapo Kuti at one time sang a song titled Suffering and Smiling. In the song, he was trying to explain the Nigerian situation, that as bad as it is, that's about 25, 30 years ago, or even over. That as about that time, things were even that bad at that time. And he said, at that time, we were even suffering and smiling. That we're not even feeling what is going on. We're not even taking it serious. The young man has seen what is taking place in the nation and probably has seen how grave it will be in the future and started warning us, as in, look, open your eyes to these things. You can't be smiling on this. At least do something about it. But people will just be like, no, just leave it. The young man is just trying to sing. But today, the songs of Fela Anikulapo Kuti has become a reality to us, so much so that we are now seeing him as a prophet. That's as bad as the Nigerian situation is. Another guy, Chinua Achebe, in his works, for some of us who probably have read his books, has also taken time to warn us against these things beforehand. Some poetry, novel, prose, and all that books have taken time to incite us on all these things before. We were forewarned, we were warned, we were told about these things. Today, a young girl was killed in Cross River State, and as I speak with you, the young guy is still walking freely. You know, it's as bad as that. Today, people are kidnapped. I'm a victim of kidnap. People are kidnapped anyhow, on the way, traveling or even walking along the street. People are kidnapped anyhow, and virtually nothing is done about it. I heard a story of about 2 or 3 or 4 children that were kidnapped about 20 years ago. It wasn't like kidnap, as at that time it was more like the man arrested the children, maybe for throwing firecracker, what we locally call banga, and then all of a sudden those children, till now as we speak, are nowhere to be found, and nobody said anything. The man is in the Senate in Nigeria. Nobody said anything. He didn't run away. He didn't go anywhere. He's still around. The parents are very much around, the parents of the children, but nothing, virtually nothing. Things will just happen. Today, they are deliberating now on how to increase fuel from 170 naira to 385 naira. That's over 100% increase. It has never happened before. That's over 100% increase in price. And people are still just moving about, and they don't care. Let me say this. Do you know that if a little child comes to you and maybe takes sand, a little child, for instance, takes sand in his hand and pour it on your body, maybe your leg, or on your leg, your lap, and all that, and you looked at the child and smile, and you say nothing, a little child that doesn't even know anything, the chances are that the child will walk back to that place, pack another sand, come over to pour on your body. And if you still do not say anything, within a short period of time, your whole body will be filled with sand. You may not likely want to try this, but to a large extent, what I have said is the truth. Do you also know that if someone maybe comes over to push you, person just taunts you, and you don't say anything, you know, on the long run, you might end up getting a slap, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, if you continue not to say anything. Do you know why? Why? It's simply because each time you keep quiet, each time you behave complacently, you give your opponent room to do more. So Nigeria, to a large extent, have gotten here simply because we have kept our mouths shut. We have tried as much as we can to adjust, individually to the situation without questioning or taking proper measures. Now, that tells you that if within this period that I have just explained, let's say 20, 25 years and all that, things have gotten from bad to worse as at now, given the very next few years with our mouths shut, we might just begin to eat or experience much terrible situations that we cannot manage. And unfortunately, at that time, we really won't be able to do anything, even if we want to. So my suggestion is the time has come for us to begin to say enough is enough and begin to come together in the best way we can as a country, as a people, to put an end to banditry, to put an end to kidnapping, to put an end to ritual killings, to put an end to all kinds of embezzlement, all kinds of political stealing and robberies, and really try to forge a new way of life for our simple coexistence in this country we call Nigeria. So, complacency and unimaginable and unnecessary adjustments to terrible living conditions have led us or has brought us here. And the next question, which we always ask, who do us? My answer to that is nobody do us. Now we do ourselves. And if now we do ourselves, now we go fit undo ourselves when we begin to say enough is enough. So this is why we are here. From Mark Emmanuel. Thank you.